I've got to start it fresh. So anyone who is listening at the moment, welcome. We, me and Wesley and someone else at the moment, we always do videos, stereo talks on relationships. Um, Sometimes it can be about religion as well. Open talks at the same time. Um, Couples. What's that? What's that beep? What is that beep?
We have a message,
Oh, we have a message.
voice message.
All right, let me listen to that. Hang on.
Sorry for interrupting, but don't change it. I think this topic is pretty good, and you address something so important in our daily life. So please, guys, keep talking about it.
Okay, thank you, man. Thanks for that confirmation there. Yeah, we'll keep talking about it. So, um, we stereo was kind of messing up before, but we were talking about compromise is key. There was a quote that I saw on Twitter. Someone said basically to be honest, that they would like men to be honest in a relationship, to clear things up, be respectful, and the key thing was to um, give things up. And then we started to go into the compromise because compromise is very important, but you have to remember that um, it has to be equal exchange. When you're going into a shop, there are things, there's always an exchange. If I buy a suit, you have to pay something for it. In a relationship, if the wife wants attention, the wife has to also give something back to that man, whatever that that may be. I mean, that might be even time with him, or it could be helping him in a certain project or something. So there's always an exchange. If there is no exchange, then one person is going to lose out, and you will find that one person is always giving something else to the other person, and eventually that person will start to lose themselves, and that's why people end up going to therapy and stuff like that and seeking help because they don't know how to have a balanced life. So um, then I saw this article about compromise, and it's given 5 pointers. So in brief, point one, it was talking about both of you need to give up something, not just one of you. And it says, before you ask your partner to give up something, be prepared to offer something to the table yourself. That shows balance, a sense of fairness, and willingness. Willingness means you want to do something. So willingness to compromise yourself, not just ask for compromise. Um, Number two was, and we were actually still on number two, the title of this one was engage in a positive compromise. So the word engage means to pay attention, and to be positive is to what let me go back to that. I did look at the word positive. Um, Positive, to have no doubt, to be helpful, useful, practical. What do you think about that,
Mhm.
Wesley? Engage in positive compromise. And then I'll start to read what it says under that.
Engage in positive compromise.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read out the meaning of engage again? I kind of got that.
Yeah, so the word engaged, let me get that back up. The word engage means to occupy or attract someone's attention. So when you're engaged, you're paying attention. Do you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
you're connecting. Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um, Also, when you're engaged in something, even your body language will show that you're engaged. You're paying attention. Um, Play that message for us. We've got another message, I think.
Okay.
I think before going to a serious action, to take a serious action like engagement, like get married, before all of that, I think a man and women should have a more time to know each other, more time to talk, to do a lot of things, to discuss a lot of things, to know if they can continue this life with each other or not.
Let me listen to that again because I liked what you said. Hang on a second.
I think before going to a serious action, to take a serious action like engagement, like to get married, before all of that, I think a man and women should have a more time.
Ah, okay. I definitely agree. So, what he's, correct me if I'm wrong, Wesley, right? But what he's saying is before we even get that deep, or couples get even that deep, take time to know each other. And um,
Yeah, yeah.
some of us Christians would relate to that as courting, which is great. I think, though, also, a I can't pronounce his name, so apologies. Abuchi, that even in the courting stage, there still needs to be some sort of compromise, and I believe that's the whole point of courting and dating, because you're getting to know that person, what they like and what they don't like. Now you might ask, well, where is the compromise in just dating? Well, I guess if you're going out to a event, who's gonna pay? I don't have any money, or what if you both don't have enough money? Do you compromise and say, you know what? And compromise is so important, even with the little things. Do you say, you know what, I will pay half, you pay half? Is that okay? If you both say yes, that's great. It's very small, but it's compromise at its finest and just simplest form. Compromise,
Yeah.
and that is a positive compromise. Why? Because they both agreed, they're listening, they're engaged. When you're engaged, you're paying attention, not just to what they're saying, but also the situation. I don't have enough money, we both don't. Why don't we
Mm-hmm.
put our money together to have a nice day out? That's a simple form of compromise. Sometimes we don't have to think of anything so big, but even that, the simple things, compromise is needed. um and through our lives, really growing up as a child to an adult, we learn different forms of compromise. There's compromise with family members, brothers, sisters, cousins, college, university. When it comes to studying, there's all different types of compromises, but there will be a exchange. There's something you have to give back.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I hope that helps. And so, under the title Engage in a Positive Compromise, it says, while sometimes compromise means one person has to give something up or extend oneself for the greater
Mm-hmm.
good, for the relationship. I want to stop there because it said something very, very interesting. It said, while sometimes compromise means one person has to give up something or extend oneself for the greater good of the relationship. The word extend means to stretch out.
Yeah.
Um, it means to I like that word, exchange, extend, um, to cover a wider area or to make larger. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Me thinking about it now is that not all relationships are 50-50 because of the compromise.
Yes.
I'm gonna go into this a bit more deeper. So, what if Wesley, your partner, doesn't earn as much money as you? Because it's a relationship and it's a compromise, it's a union. You might have to sometimes stretch a bit further to cover certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's you and hers compromise. Let me keep
Mm-hmm.
reading. So I got to, while sometimes compromise means one person has to give something or extend oneself for the greater good for the relationship, try to also compromise in a positive way. Positive, not negative. Sometimes if you apply in a negative way, that can probably cause issues, and it might seem like you don't care, but you're going to do it anyway. But
Yeah.
let's keep reading. Um, so also compromise in a positive way rather than always sacrificing.
Mm-hmm.
Negotiate up for something rather than subject. negotiate negotiate up for something rather than subject. So rather than saying no, negotiate. I think that's fair. What's your views on this so far? On that, on just on that.
Negotiating.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I think as I don't know, the guy who sent the message in the first place, his name, Abuji is his name,
yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's how you said it.
yeah, yeah. I think he underlined that the key point of being like of any relationship, right? Like is talking. You know, you have to learn how to talk things over, right? And
Mm,
yeah, I think that's right. And it actually applies in negotiating as I don't know, like negotiating as in you're courting or you're just in a serious relationship. I don't know, like at which stage. But I think it applies to all the stages because
yeah,
as you get to know each other better, I think that's you learn the other person, and then as a result you actually learn how to communicate and then how to compromise in and
mm,
like in their best interest, right? I think
yeah,
if
of course.
that's the way, then yeah, that's those are my views. Like the more you get to know each other, I mean the more you talk, and then the like the better you know how to compromise uh in their best interest and also like in your best interest. Yeah,
Mm.
I think so.
Okay, we got another message. Let's listen to this one.
When it comes to money, I don't think the girl will accept or agree with you that to pay half and you pay half, as you said before, 50-50. She will not do it. She will ask you to pay for her. She will ask you to do everything for her, to get a gift for her, and if you don't do that, that means you don't care about her. She will try to struggle to seek for another one. That's the way most of girls think about.
I would politely disagree. One, because when before I met my wife, I've been in loads of dates. I've dated a lot of women. There are some that are very materialistic and they want things. And I would class that as kind of being a bit immature because a man cannot pay for everything. Remember, it has to be a positive compromise, a positive exchange. There have been a lot of women though that I've met who will pay or help you pay. And also, though, it depends what stage you're in. If I've just met someone and I'm going on a date, the first time with a girl, and I ask her to, or if I say, oh, I can't afford this, it will look bad. And probably at that stage, maybe she won't pay. Yeah. If I was to pay
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
first date, if I was to pay on the first date and then the second date, I said to her prior the date, and again, communication is key. If I said to her, look, um, babe, I want to bring you on a date, but I only have X, Y, Z amount of money. Do you think I could pay for the meal and you could pay for the drinks? Because at that point, it's the second date. Yeah. You've done a real good job at the first date. You've paid for everything. I think it would be good or reasonable to ask that question before you even get to that point where you're going out with it. Do you understand what I mean, Wesley? That sounds a bit
yeah, yeah,
reasonable. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
not all girls are like that. I was watching a video though on YouTube called Blue Therapy, and there was a girl on there that was talking, that was saying that her love language is gifts. So there are girls out there, their love language is gifts. You buy me this, buy me that. If you don't buy me that, you don't love me. There are girls out like that. But again, though, you have to make sure this is kind of going off topic, but again, and we spoke about this last week, Wesley, about what to look for in a partner. What sort of things do you
Yeah,
look for?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
what questions you should ask before you even go to the commitment stage? Because I believe there are certain questions you need to ask before even committing to someone to make sure that you've got the right one. Yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
um, I hope that made sense to the brother that sent in that voice note. So thanks for that. So bullet point 3 says avoid talking about compromise when you're angry. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's
What's
really
your
interesting.
what what's your view on that? Avoid talking about compromise when you're angry. Why though? Like I'm gonna read the rest, but I want to focus on that title and then I'll read what they're saying underneath that. What's your just by just from the top of your head, like why is that such a bad thing? Why avoid it?
I think that's kind of correct. Like when you look at it from a point of view where like maybe you're angry, right? You're heated up in the moment,
Right.
and you obviously, if you talk a lot, you end up saying some things which actually hurt your partner. So if I'm like if I mean if I'm trying to connect that to the like to the point that you're saying like if you're heated up and you're out of control, obviously you're not thinking straight, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, obviously bringing up the issues of like compromise would actually end up in you bringing up like I do this and I did this yesterday and I keep doing this, and then you've never came in to equal the amount of like work I put in to keep this relationship afloat and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah, like
Um.
everything is on me and then you don't do nothing. I think issues like that would come up if you're angry. So yeah, I think somehow it's not good to talk about compromise when you're like angry or you've lost your temper and stuff like that, you know?
mm, yeah. Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah. We've got a message, so I'll play that and see what this guy's saying next.
When she
Okay.
gets mad, especially, she will keep compromising everything in her life to other girls. She will tell you that I'm not feeling good with you. You don't even though over everything that I want. You don't even though give me money. You don't want to buy a new car, a new house. You don't want to do everything that I want, and she will makes you feel like regret about this relationship. You will feel it comes to the end because you don't know and you can't offer everything that you want. And you know, it's a feeling like someone holding something solid and try to hit you in your back.
Let me play it again because I wasn't quite sure what you was referring to. 1 second.
When she
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
mad, especially, she will keep compromising everything in her life to other girls. She will tell you that I'm not feeling good with you. You don't even though over everything that I want. You don't even though give me money. You don't want to buy a new car, a new house. You don't want to do everything that I want, and she will makes you feel like regret about this relationship. You will feel it comes to the end because you don't know and you can't offer everything that you want. And you know, it's a feeling like someone holding something solid and try to hit you in your back.
Um, I think I understand where you're coming from. Did you get that fully, Wesley?
Yeah, I think I got part of the message, not the whole. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you can elaborate more on that, bro, that would be cool. Let's listen to the next one.
No offense to the gentleman, that sounds like an unhealthy human being. And again, no offense, but I feel like when you're dealing with something like that, that's the expectation. I don't expect healthy outcomes from unhealthy people unless they're putting in the work to get into that, into that space. And
I
you
agree.
can't force that. You might be able to support it, but knowing what you're dealing with and choosing to stay is an agreement to accept what comes with it, and vice
True.
versa if you choose to leave. So, not saying that I can't see the perspective, I'm just saying it sounds insane to maintain that type of space if you know that's what you're going to come into contact with consistently.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, we're just talking about compromise. We are just giving some examples on that. So yeah, back to the what you said, Wesley. Yeah, it's I think that it is important to avoid talking about compromise when you are angry because anything can come out. You can say things by mistake, or it can be misinterpreted as something else. So if I read what's under that, it says hold discussions about compromises only when you're both calm and feeling open towards each other. Okay, that's cool. Otherwise, take a break if your emotions are shutting you down from thinking positively or warmly towards one another. If no grounds, if it's no grounds for compromise. I agree. I mean, I don't have much to say about that. I think we've kind of discussed it really without before I kind of read it out. But any input on that? You agree? What's your thoughts?
Can you read that again, please? I'm sorry. Yeah, can you?
No, it's all right. Yeah, I'll read it again. So it says, hold discussions about compromises only when you are both calm and feeling open towards each other. Otherwise, take a break if your emotions are shutting you down from thinking positively. Uh, so I think I definitely agree with that. When you're angry, especially it said if your emotions are shutting you down, I mean, you can't compromise if you're not thinking in the right headspace, really. Because obviously you're still angry and upset about the situation. Again, compromise as well is is a part, it plays a part in giving each other space to breathe and then coming back to discuss the situation properly. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
what do you think on that?
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be like in the way you've read it. Like, I think first of all you have to create that kind of environment, like where you're both in that like state, like what can I say, stable mindset, something like that. And then you come and then you talk about compromise. You know what I'm saying? Like you address the issues that you think are bothering you somehow. Like let's say for example, I clear up my mind, right? Because I don't want to hold anything against my partner, right? And I come and talk to her in a loving manner. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like I've been doing such lately. I've been doing a lot and stuff, and I feel like overworked and stuff like that. It's okay. Be open about it, cause it's two of you
Mm.
at the end of the day. So yeah, let it all out in a loving manner, not in a hot tempered way. No. So yeah, I think I agree with that. Sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, the fourth one, which I don't really see how this fits in actually, but I'll read it and tell me what you think. Oh, we've got a voice note, so I'll play that first. Hang on.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
go
let's
ahead.
say it again. When a woman feels mad at you, she will compromise her life to other girl's life, and she will keep telling you that you don't offer everything I want. You don't want to buy a new car to me. You don't want to buy a new house. You don't want to buy anything to me. You don't want to
All
even
right.
though to give me money. She will keep saying it, and you will feel bad because you can't offer everything that she wants.
Okay, bro. So, like I said before, it's not every girl that's like that. It's definitely not that at all. And again, um, like what you said before about getting to know them first, definitely get to know them first and see what they like and see what their love language is. Because if a girl's saying that, uh, and comparing to what her girlfriends have, it sounds a bit immature to me, really. Um, You see, when I think about marriage, right, I think of a proper relationship. Now I'm talking about when I think marriage and a proper relationship, I think of a union. I think of a support, someone that's there to support you, a helpmate. When you look in the Bible, God gave Adam Eve not for romance or anything like that, not to buy expensive things, but to be a helpmate. And obviously, within the relationship, there was compromise as well. But so don't think that every girl wants things, because that's not the case for every woman out there. That's not the case. But you can avoid those type of women also.
Yeah, and I think what you just said right there also comes down to those love languages, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, those who don't know love languages, they're like those things which make your partner feel valued. Let me just put it that way in summary. Some people feel
Mm,
valued when you buy gifts for them, right? Some people feel valued when you hug them. Like some are valued when you touch them, sense of touch. Some feel valued when you say nice words to them. Some feel valued when you do something nice for them, like an act of service, right?
mm,
So yeah, it just depends, and you have to. That's why we talked about it. Like you have to know what you're getting into before you actually commit. Like
yeah.
yes, you have to know the person first. So
I,
yeah,
th-
I
I
think.
I think that's sorry to cut you, bro. Keep going.
Nah, I think I was also done. I was about to hand it over to you. Like yeah,
All right. No, that's really important, bro, about love languages. And I think I'm gonna talk about that in a minute because that is so important. And I'll touch on that because our bro was talking about that as well, because that's just one type of love language, you know. And I guess if and some men are okay doing that. There's men out there who earn a lot of money, they're okay buying their women a lot of stuff, you know.
yeah, yeah.
But there's people like that out there. um but if your issue is finding those type of women, then like what Wesley said, that you can avoid those type of women as well. Let's listen to this guy, what Ken has to say. Hang on.
And especially when we look at things in regards to the love language, a lot of times that ties back to childhood and how it is that you
Yeah.
understood and reciprocated love in that time frame. And for some
Mm.
people, that's how their parents showed their love. And, who knows, they may not have had a whole lot of time, but they always wanted to present some type of gesture. And the people like that, it's very rare that it's the cost or, even the value of, not, I
Yeah.
won't say the value, but the cost of the gift as much as it
Mm.
is the gesture. Because to that person, it represents that even in your absence, you're still thinking of them. And for them, that's the part that usually matters, at least when I, perceive people who have that type of love language.
No, of course, yeah. Thanks, Ken, for mentioning that. And again, I touched on a girl that I saw on YouTube. The YouTube channel was Blue Therapy. Um, the girl that actually wanted all those gifts, she actually went back to her father because the only type of love that her father showed her, sadly, was just buying her expensive handbags and stuff like that. So,
Oh,
uh, yeah, so because that's the only thing that her father showed her, but she didn't really care about that. She didn't care about the other stuff, the hugging and the touch. She didn't care about that. She just wanted gifts. And funny enough, how the other guy said that she will compare. She actually was comparing because on Blue Therapy, she was sitting with her boyfriend and talking to the therapist. And she actually said, Me and my girl have chats about our boyfriends and what they get us, and you don't get me anything. So it is important. And we'll touch on the love languages because again, like I said, Wesley, I was looking on Twitter and I did see a comment, and I will read that out in a minute as well. So the
okay.
fifth thing, the fifth thing is accepting help. That's interesting. And I'll read what it says under that. Learning to compromise takes practice and learning to do it without feeling like you are sacrificing. important parts of yourself is important as a individual, and to establish mutual respect in your relationship. If you're having difficulty communicating what you need and feeling, hang on, let me read that again. If you're having difficulty communicating what you need and feeling true balance in your relationship, reach out to a trusted third party or counsel for advice. Okay. Accept help, learning to compromise takes practice. I'm kind of don't really get that part of it. The accepting help part, I would relate in a different way, if I'm honest, because accepting help in the relationship is important, because you can't fully
Yeah.
compromise if you don't ask for help. A relationship is a two-way thing. It's a union, it's a partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of companies, they're in partnership with other companies. If someone makes a move without the other person knowing, guess what could happen? Things can break down. So you have to accept help and know how to speak to each other and communicate. So I think that's really important. Do you have anything to say on that?
No, I think you've said everything right there, and I really don't have anything to say about it. It's just the way it is. That's for help.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's good.
So yeah.
That's good. That's good. I'll listen to this voice note. We'll see what Ken says on this.
Okay, yeah.
I think when we look at it like that, it's more or less that no matter how good your intentions are, you are always unintentionally biased. And to that, I think it helps to have, outside opinion, outside eyes, the ability to be objective outside of yourself. And then for others, the simple fact is some of us don't know how to negotiate.
Yeah, I get that. I think sometimes though, and tell me, Ken, what you think. I think sometimes though, outside advice is good, but who you go to really is important. And can you trust them with your feelings or advice? Especially if your partner is going to your male best friend, what are the conversations about? What is she telling him that she's not telling you? And if she can't tell you what she's really feeling, then there really is a issue that you both need to sort out. And hopefully that friend or that counselor, whoever, will say, you know what, I hear what you're saying. This is what I advise you, but go back to your man and try and get that out. Yeah, and I think that's important. The source you go to accept help is very, very important.
Yeah.
You agree, Wesley? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, like 100%. The source is also important because, you might be getting help, but then it may actually be like detrimental to your relationship if it's the wrong source. So, yeah, I think, I think we need to carefully pick our sources before we consider getting any help. That's true.
Yeah. We got another voice. I'll listen to what Tom says.
I think outside advice is good as long as you can maintain an internalized perspective. The biggest issue most people run into is they can't anchor back to themselves from the things that they learned. They don't know how to manage the intersection between experience and understanding. And usually they jump to the newest one that they have, be that a new experience or a new understanding. And when it comes to us, resolving and working on problems, especially with people, it's a requirement to come back and internalize, these new things and then produce that understanding for yourself, as opposed to adopting what it is that someone else has come to show you. And that's how, you still maintain understanding with another person, because you're not presenting something of someone else, but you're presenting something that you've cultivated within yourself that they can still understand to be a part of you, but it's something that's, further based on, new things, unknown things, but good things.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's deep. Thanks for that. It's good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really
Um,
deep. Yeah.
if we go to the love languages, what are some love languages? And there was a quote that I saw as well, right, Wesley, under this tweet about for those who came in late,
Uh,
this was the kind of the 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 uh the bread of my discussion of the topic. Someone put women only, please give men some relationship advice, right?
mhm.
And I think this ties into love languages because she said this girl commented on there. She said if she mentions the fact of your availability to others and being able to commit to others a certain way, privately or publicly, then fix it. It's not fair that she's craving public love from you as well, not because of validation, but it makes her feel good. There's another comment she put on here about yeah, she also said learn to read your woman's needs and what she wants. I think that's important. Um
Yeah,
growing
right.
up personally, I did find it hard, even though I grew up with two sisters, and to a certain extent it helped, but and it is actually on a different level, but it is sometimes hard to understand women's feelings sometimes, especially when you're first in that dating season. You grow up, you're 18 or whatever, and you're trying to understand women in the relationship setting. It's very different from talking to another guy and having a normal friendship. Um, Women are just different. Women are more emotional, like I said before, and men are more visual and straightforward. Um, so the love languages that I've typed up on here, and it's brought up a few love languages. So Wesley, tell me what you think, right? So one of them is acts of service, which means doing helpful things for your partner. Um, some men think that just women should cook. What if
Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah.
woman, what if your woman wanted you to cook her, or she just liked you once in a while to cook her a nice meal, and that was that was an act of service that she liked. I mean, are we willing to do
Yeah,
stuff like that? Uh, you know what I mean? So it could be something like that. What's
yeah,
your
yeah.
take on it?
I mean, that's okay as far as I'm concerned. Like,
You
that's
can
a
cook.
love language. Yeah, I mean, no problem. I'm actually a good chef, so yeah, I'll mix it up and yeah, you know.
Would you
I mean,
cook?
if that's how she feels valued, then I'll do it.
Yeah, so I mean, I just picked out one thing. I mean, let me try if I can think of another one. Acts of service. Okay, cleaning the living room. I don't know. Um, it could be cleaning something in the house or taking part in helping. That could be an act of service. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Again, that's mainly for yeah. I think yeah. Acts of service. There isn't really much of. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong. Acts of service outside of in just dating. Acts of service could be right. So act of service means doing helpful things for your partner. It could mean helping her to pay for something. 'Cause in the dating season, you're kind of going out a lot, aren't you? And kind of treating each other and stuff like that. You're exploring each other. So yeah, acts of service. So yeah, I think that is an important one to look out for. Very important one. So we've got another voice note. Let's listen to that.
I don't think it's a terrible notion, but I definitely don't think it's a wise expectation because there is no clearer understanding than the one that you provide yourself. The one that I have to infer is always going to be, mired with my understanding of you in that situation, which could very easily not even in the slightest be your perspective, or it could be absolutely correct. but that's a gamble. And within that gamble, that misunderstanding has the ability to further misdirect the energy that could be used to fix a problem, as opposed to clearly establishing what's needed to resolve it. And to me, that's a problem of inefficient communication. And I think a lot of us, we're not very practiced in understanding what direct and efficient communication is. We're either very
Mm.
passive, or we're very aggressive, or we're somewhere in between. And I think that's something that we should look at being worked on.
Yeah, so work on communicating. Yeah. Yeah, I think us men sometimes struggle with that. I think we're good at talking and listening, but probably not fully.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because yeah, I think we can all admit to that. So a next one is receiving gifts, and again, what our guy was talking about. Um, so yeah, receiving gifts, giving your partner gifts that tell them what you were thinking about them. So yeah, another love language which we've heard a lot about today, receiving gifts. Gifts.
yeah.
Can you afford it? If you come across someone that in the early stages that says, you know what, my love language is gifts. What does that look like? One gift a week, 5 gifts a week?
Um,
That's something that I think that's mainly women that would most likely be saying something like that.
yeah,
And
very.
it's interesting actually. You wouldn't really see a guy saying anything like that. And actually, if we go back to acts of service, would you say guys want would you say that men as men, guys, answer this question, right? What do you think? Acts of service, does that apply to men as well? Does that apply to us men? Acts of service, doing helpful things for your partner. I think so, a little bit.
Yeah, it
It
does actually. Yeah,
yeah. That could be hmm, like my partner reminding me. It's little things for us guys. I mean, it might be like, oh, remember. She might say, remember, oh, you got to be somewhere at 12 o'clock. Oh, thanks, I forgot. That really
yeah,
helps. Do you know what I mean? Those little things, it shows that they're paying attention and they care. You didn't tell them to remind you; they just happened just to be thinking. And for us guys, that could be out of service. Receiving
yeah, yeah.
gifts, I don't think. Yeah, receiving gifts, I don't think that's a guy thing. What's your view?
No, I think that's also, yeah. It goes both ways actually. So yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Acts of service go both ways too.
Mm, yeah, yeah, cool. The next one is quality time. And that's a spending meaningful time with your partner. Um, that's quite that's quite explanatory. It kind of explains it without talking about it really. But yeah, spending time, meaningful time with your partner. What could that look like, Wesley?
Okay, now before we go to like spending time, what did we talk about the gifts again? Like, what did we conclude? Like, how did we conclude when it came to gifts?
Well, the way I think I left it, and correct me if you want to talk more on it, but the way I left it was that as men, as guys, I don't think we want to receive gifts as a love language.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, if you but if you come across to a lady that uh in the getting to know stage that likes that, I think then you should question if that's someone you want to be with because it's very expensive. If she's that type of person. You have to think about yeah, you have to think about a lot. I mean, is once a month okay for her? Do you know what I mean? It's these sort of questions because people surprise
Yeah,
you. I mean, the person that I was listening to wanted gifts I think she wanted something close to Gucci, proper Gucci stuff, like five
Oh,
times a month. That's how much she wanted those type of gifts. And I remember him saying on the show that, but I'm saving up for a house. I don't have time to buy you stuff like that. So he was thinking on the line of saving up.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
receiving gifts as a love language, as a guy, we have to really think about that. It's not really
yeah,
a guy thing because us guys, we don't want to receive gifts 24/7. Like that's not. I mean, I hardly even when my birthday's coming up in November. I think I asked my wife if she could get me a video game, but other than that,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I get
um,
you.
I kind of done that as well. So she has something to buy for me because last year I didn't want anything, and the year before that I didn't want anything. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so but yeah. So does that help? Sorry.
yeah. I think that helps very much. That helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also just wanted to add that I mean there are sometimes the person's what do you call this, love language might not be receiving gifts, but then there's still like sometimes where you can just like from like deep down you're like, ah, I think I can still get her something that I mean that she loves. I'm not saying they're not there's the your partner might have some things that she likes, but that's not her love language, receiving gifts, right? But then you can still surprise her like once in a while, like buy her something. That's okay too, like in my opinion.
It's okay, but some don't want that. I'll send you the
Yeah.
video, but on Blue Therapy, all she wanted a lot of gifts from what she was talking about.
Yeah, no,
I,
that's
I think
too
I think
much.
3 weeks passed and she didn't get anything. And she was really upset about that.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and she wasn't talking about flowers. She was talking about clothes, bags,
expensive clothes.
expensive stuff. Someone wants to come in, so let me see. Check out this person's profile. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, let's approve that. Let's see. We're still waiting for Mimi.